Hey guys, welcome back to Heal, Survive, and Thrive. I am so excited that you're here. I am cozied up, sitting at my table. I have my cup of tea. Let's get into this week's topic. So a while back, I actually did a poll on Instagram and I asked you guys, what would you like to hear more of from me? A lot of you talked about confidence. So I'm going to give you kind of like six things that you guys can start to focus on. Now, as I go through each of these, I want you to really listen and be honest with yourself and admit if this is something that you really need to work on, because we usually have a couple of these areas that are key things that are preventing us from being our most confident. One of the first things towards having really good, healthy self-confidence is appreciating yourself. Now, I'm going to put this into a category of learn how to appreciate yourself, work on your self-talk, which is basically what? You learning how to love yourself. So when you know how to love yourself, you know how to have positive and healthy self-talk. You know how to distinguish, oh, look, I'm in a negative spiral of crappy self-talk. I'm telling myself something right now that's not helping me in any way, shape, or form. I'm belittling myself. I'm shaming myself. I'm making myself feel guilty. I am, not boosting myself up. I'm actually making myself feel worse. So self-talk, amongst many other benefits in terms of mental health in general, your self-talk is going to be the number one thing that will allow you to be confident and be authentically confident. So we all know, and I'm sure we've all met, someone who can carry themselves in a certain way, and they seem confident, but then when you get to know them, you actually can really see all of the insecurities, all of the fear, all of that other stuff, which is all the internal stuff that they haven't really worked on within themselves, and they're just doing, or they've learned to do a few things that exude confidence to the outside world, but really they're not authentically confident and loving inside. So what we're trying to do is, your confidence, everything should come from the inside out. So when you really love yourself and you know how to speak to yourself and you appreciate yourself, then you're just going to be confident. It's not even something that you're going to have to be mindful of, you know what, let me stand up a little taller, let me push my shoulders back, let me, make sure I make eye contact with people when I'm speaking to them. Let's make sure I speak slowly instead of just trying to rush everything out. All of those other things are important and I'm going to get into them, but the number one thing is you being able to talk to yourself as if you are your own best friend. You have to have an inner monologue, an inner dialogue with yourself that is, kind and loving and effective and something that's going to help you to be confident. So you have to be able to really catch yourself when you're going down that negative spiral into negative self-talk of a bunch of assumptions and fears and stress and limiting beliefs and insecurities, all of that stuff. You have to be mindful of, here I go, I'm engaging in that and being able to kind of reel yourself back in, which is something I constantly am talking about on the podcast, on my channel, where I talk about self-parenting and really what that process is. And the next thing in terms of your self-talk and in terms of you really learning how to love yourself is appreciating yourself. So you have to have, a good body image. You have to love your body. You have to love everything that makes you who you are. You have to love all of the qualities that make you you, and really knowing who you are inside and out and appreciating all of that. That right there is self-love. If you can recognize when you're, for example, and I know I do this often, I still do it often, and I still have to catch myself when I'm doing it. And sometimes it's easy to catch it, and other times I don't even realize I'm doing it because I'm in autopilot mode. That can still happen even for me, is going into a dressing room and trying something on and immediately going, ugh. The minute you can say that to yourself in a dressing room, for us women, possibly even men too, we're not appreciating ourselves. We're not loving ourselves for who we are, and we're not loving our bodies. We're just basically shaming ourselves and making us feel inadequate. So being able to catch yourself in those moments and practicing more gratitude in your life for either what you have or who you are and what you've accomplished is going to make you feel better than shaming yourself for all of the things that you don't have and things that you're not and all of that. One of the next ways to really have a lot of confidence is to really, and I talk about this a lot with my private clients, is learning how to slow yourself down. We live in such a fast-paced world that it's easy to get so caught up in the next thing we have to do and being perfect, and I didn't get this yet, and I didn't achieve that goal, and this person left me, and what's wrong with me? We're just so quick, and our minds can work so fast that learning the practice of slowing down and living more in the moment, because your happiness really is in this moment. And if you understand what that means and you understand how to practice almost like walking meditation, where you can really be present to what you're doing, it's one of the biggest challenges that most people have, because most people are not present to what they're doing. They're always thinking about the next thing, or they're always, on their phones or on their computers, or thinking about their jobs and not really being present to whatever it is you are doing. So if you are working at something having to do with a job, that you're fully present to that and you're doing the best that you can do with what you're doing right now. Same thing when you're spending time with friends and family or your children, or you're giving yourself a moment to just give yourself some you time. Really being in the moment of what you're doing and slowing things down is you taking care of yourself, is you loving yourself, and all those things combined begin to build a confidence within yourself, because you're taking care of yourself and you know how to take care of yourself. Not just staying present and slowing down, but like I said previously, even slowing down the way you speak. I know for me, sometimes my mind can go so fast that I want to really get everything out. And something that I've learned over the course of, me doing my own personal self-development was slowing down what I say and being comfortable with the silence, meaning being comfortable with taking a pause in a conversation, in a podcast, on a video, for me to think. And that pause allows you to relax, and that shows confidence, because people want to hear what you have to say next. And by you not rushing, you sound very confident, right? Like you appear to be very confident because you are not trying to rush in a conversation or get everything out at once. You love yourself enough to know, I'm going to slow this down so I can be articulate, so I can think this through, and I can say what I need to say because my words are important. So the next thing having to do with kind of slowing yourself down is also being able to be comfortable enough to make eye contact with people, whether you are having a conversation with them or not. And I would challenge you to go about your life this week, wherever you are, if you're in the grocery store, if you're walking past someone, and watch how many people pass you and look down. Because we're trained to be so either addicted to our phones or have all these distractions, or not be comfortable enough to just smile at each other. So I would challenge you to, number one, recognize how many people actually do this, that they try to avoid making eye contact with you. And you put yourself out there a little bit to make it a point to make eye contact with someone. And when you do make eye contact with someone, you smile. I think this is something that is really huge, especially if you're a single person and you're out there dating and you see someone that you find attractive. Ladies, how often have we been at anywhere, a restaurant, a bar, and we see someone attractive and they look at us and we look away? We just immediately look away because we just get like nervous or scared or insecure ourselves. But being able to have confidence to then look back at the person and smile, number one, it gives them the invitation, hey, you can come talk to me if you want to. And number two, that shows that you're confident enough to look at people and not, get so nervous that you just look away. So the next thing that I want you to think about is how you carry yourself in your day-to-day life. How your body language and how you walk around and how you sit every single day. Is it you slouched over? Do you have your shoulders in? Or do you allow yourself to stand up tall and stand up straight? If you're a person that can articulate yourself really well, but your body language doesn't mirror your ability to communicate in a certain way, that doesn't exactly, show you as being the most confident. So you want to be a person that knows how to not only speak slowly, articulate your words, say what you need to say, and practice that, but also a person that knows how to stand somewhere with confidence, someone that's able to look at people and make eye contact, look at people and smile, engage in a conversation and be present in that moment, being able to articulate yourself to whomever. That is an authentically confident person. So I hope that has helped you guys look at confidence and really decide what areas do you need to focus on. Again, for me, it was really slowing myself down. That was one of the biggest things. And when I started to really work on that, I noticed that my posture changed, my body language changed. I was able to, make it a point to practice looking at people and engaging in conversations with them. I think that's another huge thing. So I hope you got some great takeaways from this. Don't forget to catch all of my episodes and podcasts every single week. Don't forget to also follow me on Instagram. If you are interested in working with me, you can check out my website, StephanieLynnLifeCoaching.com. I have all the information you will need there in terms of private coaching, individual sessions, and as well my 9-week online course, which is so amazing, and I'm so glad you guys are loving it so much. It's basically me coaching you in 9 weeks, so if you are interested in coaching at your own pace, you can look into that as well, and I will speak to you next week.